Hello and welcome. Thank you for joining me for this Fusion On Demand presentation. Let's talk about lending a helping page and empowering teaching and learning through curated resources for Brightspace. I'm Chelsea Timlin. I'm an Assistant Director of Instructional Technologies at the University of Arizona. Take a minute to think on this. What is one goal you have for on-demand Brightspace resources at your own institution? You could consider the format it might take, the audience it should reach, or the main purpose it might serve. My goal with this presentation is to leave you with some options, ideas, and approaches that will help you create and curate resources to support users as they teach and learn with Brightspace. We'll look at some strategies for creating and curating resources, some examples of on-demand resources we offer at U Arizona, and the directions we want to take with our on-demand resources in the coming year. Let's turn first to some strategies and considerations for curating resources. Your context is going to define quite a bit about your resources, their purpose, their scope, their audience, and their development and maintenance. At U Arizona, we have a team of 10 instructional technologists to support more than 50,000 students, more than 3,300 instructors, and a wide range of instructional support, IT, and administrative staff in their teaching, learning, and organization with Brightspace. With those numbers, it's crucial that we have options for supplementing the support we can provide directly. It also means that we address a variety of needs, from introducing users to the platform to identifying ways to engage students through things like intelligent agents. What are your goals in relation to the audiences you've identified within your context? For us, communicating efficiently and consistently, simplifying and facilitating accessible support and guidance, and showcasing the work we do across campus are our priorities. There are probably just as many ways to approach your goals for resource curation as there are stars in the sky. However, it's important to consider the fast pace that has become commonplace in teaching and learning of pretty much any kind. Our on-demand resources focus in on the first 3 trends and preferences in professional development listed here. Just-in-time learning refers to the tendency to receive information exactly when you need it, looking up a soup recipe before cooking dinner, for example. Microlearning can look very different depending on context, but essentially it considers the value in short bursts of information. For example, a 20-second YouTube video on resetting your mobile device. The consistency you have in delivering professional development opportunities and communication is significant, as it keeps your audience's attention and creates a presence for your support, even if it isn't a direct conversation. This presentation touches less on the last 2, micro-credentials and knowledge exchange opportunities, but they are valuable approaches for resource curation to consider if your institution has the tools to support them. The bulk of this presentation is meant to show some examples of the on-demand resources that we have developed and curated at U Arizona. These specifically fit within the just-in-time learning, microlearning, and consistent communication approaches I mentioned previously. Our main on-demand resources include an Instructional Technology Help Center, or help pages, Discover courses designed as orientations and short trainings, and announcement campaigns organized by role, time of the semester, and type of information. The Instructional Technology Help Center is the result of a migration from our old Drupal-hosted help pages developed over 10 years ago. We spent the majority of 2023 conducting user testing on the old help pages to develop a new design and approach to organizing and delivering information. We selected Help Scout to host our help center, as we were already using their email services, which provided the added benefit of integrating help pages into email communication. No need to take screenshot after screenshot and write out steps over and over anymore when you can just connect a help page. After hundreds of hours of copying, editing, deleting, writing new content, we now have two separate sites, one for students and one for instructors, to minimize confusion on which resources are meant for whom and to curate the kind of information that each group sees. Right now, we have approximately 400 pages total. Each site is organized into collections like D2L, integrated technologies, important info and updates, and categories within those collections like account settings, class list, learner management, and so on. Please feel free to visit the center at help.intech.arizona.edu or by scanning that QR code on the slide. Much of the information is global to Brightspace users, with the exception of our university-specific policies and procedures. 400 pages. That sounds like a lot to manage, and it is. But the migration process also forced us to put practices in place for updating when necessary and reviewing those updates for consistency before publishing. We use a project management tool called Monday, where we've listed every category, every page within that category, and who on the team is responsible for each page. We also pay close attention to the keywords we assign to each page to improve the search capacity and include related pages at the bottom of each page to direct users where they may need to go next. Help page analytics help us take the pulse of how many users we are engaging with our resources. Since our new Instructional Technology Help Center went live in December 2023, visits have steadily increased. March of 2024 was the first month in which users were automatically redirected to the new site if they entered the old URL. We'll probably see a dip in the summer months, as usual, with less students and instructors around for summer courses, but we are on a steady trajectory to work towards that almost 200,000 visits that our old site received in 2023. What about resources that can be created and managed within Brightspace? We host a handful of Discover courses designed around specific topics and tools. Our orientation sites utilize intelligent agents to automatically enroll any new user with a student role or instructor role into the appropriate orientation. We offer several courses on special topics that are available to specific roles. Some are focused on best practices, like creating accessible course sites. Others are focused on how to use specific tools within Brightspace, like Digication training and Quiz Question Converter. The Lockdown Browser training is a bit unique to the others. It provides a brief overview of when to and when not to use Lockdown Browser, and harnesses the amazing power of intelligent agents to notify us when an instructor has completed the required items and content, at which point we enable the tool. While Discover does allow us to continue creating resources based on common questions and new ideas, there are several limitations to acknowledge with this format. In opposition to the microlearning approach, many of these Discover sites are designed for a more complete orientation. While they could easily be completed in small pieces, module by module, the current design does not lend itself to those quick sessions of information. The best example of a microlearning-oriented course is our Respondus Lockdown Browser training. Instructors will spend no longer than 15 minutes completing this training. The final example I want to show is how we have purposed org-level announcements to double as just-in-time learning opportunities and consistent communication. My colleague Amy Hammond, who is presenting this year in person on some of these strategies related to announcements, is the mastermind behind this. I don't want to steal her thunder, so I will just give a brief overview of how this fits into our on-demand resources. We established categories that could apply to any audience: Did You Know or Tech Tips, which provides quick how-to information about common and lesser-known options within Brightspace. Attention or Be Advised, for important information related to university-specific occurrences and known issues within Brightspace. And Events, which help us advertise our live webinar series, D12 at 2, and other professional development opportunities within our unit. I'm sure many of you experience the waves throughout the academic semester that influence the kind of support you're offering. For example, semester startup, the midterm wave, the final grades wave. For this reason, we've established a consistent schedule for announcements. For example, did you know announcements run at the start of each term to inform students about why they may not be seeing some of their courses? Grades-related tech tips run at the end of every term to remind instructors what they need to do in order to finalize grades. Announcements typically include links to related help pages, leading them to more information and a chance to engage in more of that just-in-time learning as they're ready. The last piece to this is ensuring we are distributing information to the audience that will need it the most. Students don't need to know how their instructors go about submitting final grades, but they do need to know where to check their grade in Brightspace. We've set conditional releases based on role within the org unit. Most instructor-oriented announcements are also released to anyone with a staff-oriented role, instructional designers, instructional consultants, etc. Since in many cases, these folks are assisting or managing certain processes within a course. To finish up, let's look ahead to what directions the development of an on-demand resources can take. All of the resources I've mentioned have plenty of room for growth. Their impact, reception, and limitations also lead to new ideas for how we can address the continuously changing needs of our students, instructors, and staff. With a new contract with D2L Brightspace beginning next year, our unit has prioritized learning about instructors and students' use of Brightspace and where they see room for improvement. Part of this effort involves developing a campus-wide LMS training curriculum, which will consist of several mandatory components and some elective options to encourage exploration into what Brightspace is capable of. This training will prioritize short sessions to capitalize on microlearning opportunities. It will also help us ask new questions about what direction we should take for our new instructor orientation site in Discover. Our team has started a new initiative for micro videos and explainer videos to enhance our help pages and to eventually integrate with our existing announcement campaigns. We receive a lot of feedback related to more video content, and we hope to provide these in the form of micro videos for quick tasks and explainers for illustrating more complex processes and use cases. The next step for our Instructional Technology Help Center is conducting user testing to determine whether we have addressed some of the pain points from our old help pages and to identify new opportunities to improve the design. Always a process of development and growth. And with that, I leave you with something to reflect on as you continue on your way at Fusion. How will you approach your goals for on-demand resources? Thank you for listening. I hope the examples I've shared help as you reflect, strategize, and curate your resources for Brightspace users. Please feel free to contact me at ctimlin@arizona.edu if you have questions or if you'd like to connect more around this topic. Enjoy the rest of Fusion.